Look, if you're over 50, you're probably doing everything right. You walk every day. You avoid anything too heavy or risky. You're careful with your joints. That all sounds smart, doesn't it? But here's what shocked me when I discovered it. Scientists found that 68 out of every 100 people over 50 who have constant lower back pain share one thing in common. It's not old age. It's not worn-out joints. It's weak butt muscles that nobody paid attention to. Yes, you heard that right. Your glutes, the muscles in your backside. And it gets more serious. Research shows that the biggest reason people over 65 fall and end up in the hospital isn't poor eyesight or slow reactions. It's weak hips and glutes. Think about that for a second. You could be careful every single day and still be setting yourself up to get hurt when it really matters. Now, listen, I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm not blaming you or your doctor or anyone who gave you advice. Walking is great. Stretching is wonderful. Being careful is smart. But what if those things are just keeping you from getting worse, not making you stronger? What if the very things you're doing to stay safe are quietly letting your most powerful muscles shut down year after year? Here's something else most people never hear. Studies found that people with strong glute muscles burn 12% more calories, even when they're just sitting around, even after 50. That means better blood sugar, more energy, easier weight control without crazy workouts. But here's the problem. Most people avoid glute exercises because they think it's just for looks, or it's dangerous, or it's too late to start. But strength doesn't have an expiration date. If you're watching this right now, it means you care about staying independent. You want to get up from a chair without wincing. You want to walk with confidence. You want to live your life without constantly worrying about falling or getting hurt. This video is for you. Not to scare you, not to push you too hard, but to show you with real science and simple movements that building strength after 50 isn't just possible, it's absolutely necessary. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 5 carefully chosen exercises designed specifically for people over 50. These are movements that physical therapists and movement experts trust. And if this message hits home for you, if you believe getting older should mean getting wiser, not weaker, take a second to hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because strength at this age isn't about trying to look 30 again. It's about staying you strong, confident, and free. For decades, people over 50 have heard the same advice everywhere. Just keep walking. It's the safest and best thing you can do, and sure, that sounds right. Walking is easy on your joints. It's free. It gets you moving. But here's what nobody wants to tell you. Walking alone might be safe, but it's not enough. Scientists discovered that when you walk, you're only using about 1/3 of your biggest, strongest muscle, your glutes. Let that sink in. 2/3 of your strength is just sitting there, unused. And here's what makes it worse. After we hit 50, we naturally lose 1 to 2% of our muscle every single year. So if all we're doing is walking, we're barely holding on, not actually getting stronger. Here's how the damage happens quietly. Weak glutes mean poor hip support. Poor hip support means more pressure on your knees and back. That pressure leads to pain, wobbling, and higher risk of falling. And by the time you feel the pain, the weakness has already been there for years. But here's the good news. What if walking was just your warm-up, not the whole workout? What if adding just a few targeted exercises could reverse the weakness that walking can't fix? What you're about to see are 5 essential glute-building moves made specifically for adults over 50. They're based on science, they're safe for your joints, and they work in real life. So instead of just doing more of what's safe, what if you did what actually works? Let's go through the top 5 exercises to rebuild your glute strength safely and smartly, starting from number 5 and working up to the most powerful one. Number 5, step-ups. The real-life strength test you don't even know you're failing. Isn't this just walking with a little step? That's what it looks like, right? Harmless. But this one simple move tells you more about your glute strength, balance, and fall risk than almost anything else. Think about your everyday life. Climbing stairs, stepping up on a curb, getting into a high vehicle. These aren't gym exercises. These are daily tests of your ability to lift your entire body weight on one leg. And most walking routines never train this. Step-ups work your glutes and all the stabilizer muscles in your hips and core, especially when you do one leg at a time. That's critical for balance, joint safety, and stair climbing strength. But here's the trick. The power should come from your front leg, not from pushing off with your back foot. When you do it right, step-ups wake up sleeping glutes and improve something really important: your brain's ability to find and fire the right muscles at the right time. One study showed that after just 6 weeks of doing step-ups, adults over 60 improved their single leg strength by 27% and their stability on stairs by 33%. No heavy weights needed. Avoiding step-ups because they feel hard or shaky might seem safe, but over time, it leads to muscle imbalance, worse balance, and needing to grab handrails or ask for help with basic things like stairs. Here's how to do it safely over 50. Use a low step, 6 to 12 inches tall. Put your whole foot on the step. Hold onto a chair or wall for balance. Push through your heel and squeeze your butt at the top. Just 2 or 3 sets of 8 reps per side, twice a week, can start rebuilding your strength. What feels hard today becomes easy and freedom tomorrow. Ready for number 4? This next one looks almost too simple, but it quietly trains one of the most important stabilizers in your entire body. Number 4, glute kickbacks, the tiny move that keeps you standing tall. It's just a little leg lift. How good can that really be? It looks simple, way too simple. So most people over 50 either skip it or just go through the motions, but don't be fooled. This small, controlled movement trains one of the most important skills you need after 50, the ability to push your hip back without using your lower back. And that's a skill most people lose without even noticing. Your glute max is your main hip extender. It's the powerhouse that helps you walk, stand up from a chair, and climb stairs. But when it gets weak, and it does quietly over time, other muscles like your lower back and hamstring start doing the work instead. That creates bad movement patterns, extra pressure on your spine, and eventually pain. Kickbacks done correctly retrain your brain to use the right muscle, bringing back strength and stability where it belongs. One study showed that focused glute exercises, including kickbacks, improved how confidently people walked, their balance and hip control in just 4 weeks. That's right. 4 weeks of smart training brought real changes in how people moved and stood. When your glutes are weak, every step pulls from your lower back. Over time, this creates a pattern of hip drop, knee pain, and bad posture that everyone blames on getting old. But it's not age. It's neglect. Here's how to do it safely over 50. Stand tall behind a sturdy chair. Hold the back lightly for balance. Lift one leg straight back, keeping your back flat. Don't arch your lower back. Hold at the top for 1 to 2 seconds and squeeze your glute. Slowly lower back down. Repeat 10 to 12 times per leg. 2 to 3 sets. Even with no weight, you'll feel a focused burn in the right place, your glutes, not your back. You're not just lifting a leg. You're lifting your strength back to where it should be. Coming up next is number 3, the single most underrated exercise in senior fitness, and you can do it lying down. Number 3, glute bridge, the most powerful move you can do lying flat. Lying on the floor doesn't look like exercise, does it? We think real strength needs machines, weights, or sweat. But what if one of the most powerful exercises for your spine, hips, and balance could be done just by lying down? Meet the glute bridge, a movement that looks gentle but speaks directly to the muscles that hold your body upright. When you do it right, the glute bridge targets your glute max with very little help from your hamstrings or lower back. It creates a safe way to build the muscles responsible for standing, walking, and lifting without pain. Even more important, it reprograms your nervous system to fire your glutes first instead of relying on your lower back. This brain-to-muscle connection is critical, especially as we age, when that control naturally starts to fade. In one 8-week study, people over 55 who consistently did glute bridges and core exercises reduced chronic lower back pain by 42% and improved their mobility scores by over 35%. Not from surgery, not from pills, from movement. The problem is most people unknowingly arch their back during this exercise, shifting all the pressure to the spine and completely missing the glutes. This not only makes it useless, it can actually cause more pain. Here's how to do it safely over 50. Lie on a mat or firm bed. Bend your knees, feet flat, hip width apart. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides. As you lift your hips, imagine pulling from your glutes, not your back. Only lift until your hips line up with your shoulders and knees. No overarching. Pause and squeeze your glutes hard at the top for 2 to 3 seconds. Lower slowly. Repeat 12 to 15 times, 2 to 3 sets. Optional. Place a pillow between your knees to help with form. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is reconnect with muscles your body forgot existed. Get ready. Number 2 is a move you can do while sitting, but it trains muscles you rely on every single time you take a step. Number 2, seated band abduction. The invisible muscle that protects every step you take. How much can sitting and pushing your knees apart really do? It doesn't look like much, right? You're just sitting with a band around your legs, barely moving. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This tiny movement targets 2 muscles that rarely get attention until it's too late. Your gluteus medius and minimus. These are your side glutes, the muscles that stabilize your pelvis every time you stand, walk, or shift your weight onto one leg. When these muscles are weak, and they often become weak after 50, your hips wobble with every step, and that doesn't just look unstable. It creates real structural problems. Your gluteus medius acts like a side anchor, keeping your pelvis level, your knees trucking straight, and your spine aligned. Without it, your body starts collapsing inward, which causes hip pain, knee strain, and dramatically increases your fall risk. One study found that hip abduction strength was the #1 predictor of whether someone over 65 could catch themselves during a fall. In other words, if you can push your knees outward with control, you're far more likely to save yourself during a trip or slip and avoid serious injury. You might feel like you're walking fine, but your body is compensating, and that's when things go wrong. Knee pain that won't quit. One leg feels weaker. Your walking pattern shifts, leading to imbalance and exhaustion. Here's how to do it safely over 50. Sit on a firm chair. Place a light resistance band around your legs just above the knees. Keep your feet flat and knees hip width apart. Gently press your knees outward. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds at the widest point. Slowly return and repeat 12 to 15 times, 2 to 3 sets. Tip: don't rush it. The slower you move, the deeper the muscles work. You don't need to move more. You just need to activate smarter. Coming up next is number 1, the exercise most people think is way too advanced. But when done right, it might be the single best strength builder for older adults. Number 1, Bulgarian split squat. The most underrated glute move for adults over 50. Isn't that an advanced gym move for athletes? That's what everyone thinks. It looks hard. It sounds intimidating. And it's almost never suggested to older adults, which is a real shame, because when done properly, the Bulgarian split squat might be the most powerful functional movement you can do for your glutes, hips, and knees, especially after 50. This exercise forces your glutes and side hip muscles to fire under control while also challenging your balance, core, and proprioception, your body's ability to know where it is in space. That combination is gold for real-world strength. It mimics how we naturally move, one leg at a time, shifting weight, stabilizing from the hip, exactly what you do when walking, turning, reaching, or catching yourself from a fall. It also stretches your hip flexors, which get tight from age and sitting, restoring movement and reducing stiffness. According to leading physical therapists who work with older adults, Bulgarian split squats are among the most effective movements for reactivating glutes and correcting walking patterns. Why? Because they work. Avoiding this movement, because it looks hard, often means you never train your body to handle real-world imbalance. And that leads to uneven walking, overloaded joints on one side, higher fall risk, and faster strength loss in the weaker leg. Here's how to do it safely over 50. Stand about 2 feet in front of a low bench or chair. Place 1 foot behind you, resting the top of your foot on the chair. Use another chair or wall for balance. Slowly bend your front knee, lowering until your thigh is parallel or as far as feels comfortable. Keep your chest lifted. Don't let your front knee cave inward. Press through your front heel to stand back up. Start with 6 to 8 reps per leg, 2 to 3 sets, body weight only. Tip: shorten the range and hold onto something sturdy if you're new. Depth doesn't matter as much as control. You don't have to move fast. You just have to move with intention. This isn't about pushing limits. It's about reclaiming strength. 1 leg, 1 step, 1 decision at a time. So let's take a breath and step back for a moment. What you just saw weren't trendy fitness moves. They were foundation builders, exercises designed not just to make you stronger, but to help you move better, stand taller, and live with more ease no matter your age. You don't need to chase perfection. You don't need to lift heavy weights or follow complicated routines. And you absolutely don't need to keep up with anyone else. What you need is to start with what your body actually needs. Because after 50, the rules change. Your body speaks differently. And now more than ever, it rewards consistency over intensity and precision over pressure. You've spent decades showing up for others, your family, your community, your work. But your health, that's the one investment that gives back more time, more energy, and more freedom. Not someday, not if I had started earlier. Now, and it's not too late, because science proves that even in your 50 seconds, 60 seconds, and 70 seconds, you can rebuild lost muscle, restore movement patterns, and prevent pain, often faster than you think. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters. Glute strength isn't just about posture or performance. It's about independence. It's about confidence. It's about saying, I trust my body again. So whether you do all 5 exercises today or just 1, know that every single rep is a message to your future self. I've got your back, literally. You don't have to rush, you just have to keep going. If this video gave you new insight, please hit that like button. Not just for me, but so more people like you can find this message. Drop a comment below telling me which exercise surprised you most, or share your story, because someone else reading it might find their reason to start. And if you're ready for more movement, more strength, and more of you, subscribe to the channel, because we're just getting started.